This is the Tesla Model Y. It's Australia's biggest selling EV and one of our most popular SUVs outright. Until now, it hasn't really had a bona fide challenger. This is the Kia EV5 and it's got the Model Y in its targets. But is it good enough to take on and topple the mighty Tesla? Well, that's a great question and it's one we're going to answer right here and right now. We're testing the entry-level models in both lineups, the Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive and the Kia EV5 Air standard range. They're both members of the medium SUV category and part of a growing battery electric subgenre. The Kia EV5 was actually meant to launch 4 months ago, but was sent back to the manufacturing plant in China where it's built for a tune-up because of wheel balance and electric power steering software issues. Kia now says the EV5 is spot on, and we're happy to report we had no dramas with our test vehicle during this comparison. Kia's really signalled its intent with the EV5 by pricing the Air standard range under the Model Y rear-wheel drive. Your advantage will vary from state to state, but about $2,000 at least extra in your wallet. The Kia servicing equation is orthodox: 12 months and 15,000 kilometre service intervals and a cap price service program. The Tesla is serviced every 2 years approximately on a needs basis at a pretty low cost, around $300. Despite being direct competitors, these two are very much different in their exterior style. The Tesla is a lozenge, the Kia is a brick. It doesn't look it thanks to its rounded shape, but the Tesla is also longer and wider. The EV5 is just a frag taller. The Tesla has some big ticket exterior exclusives, including a panoramic sunroof, matrix LED headlights, a power tailgate and 1 inch larger 19-inch alloy wheels. Both cars come with fussy aerodynamic door handles that suck into the doors when closed. They can be a pain to open. As the entry-level models, these two both have single E-motors. The EV5 drives the front wheels. The Model Y, as its name suggests, is rear-wheel drive. They also have similarly sized battery packs around 60 kilowatt hours, but the Model Y is more efficient, claiming a 455 kilometre WLTP range versus 400 kilometres for the EV5. Power and torque, the Model Y also has the advantage here, and that's reflected in a quicker 0 to 100 kilometre hour claim time, 6.9 seconds versus only 8.5 seconds for the EV5. The Model Y is very different to the automotive norm when you first step in. There's just this big 15-inch infotainment screen sitting slap bang in the center of the dash, and that's it. There's no speedo in front of the driver. Lift your gaze wider around the cabin and the Model Y presents efficient rather than luxurious. Its leather seat trim is fake like many other EVs, but there are also plenty of hard surfaces. Countering that is an equipment advantage including dual wireless phone chargers, memory setting for the driver's seat, power adjust for both front seats and the steering column, and a heated steering wheel. Like the EV5, it's built in China and it is definitely better bolted together than earlier Teslas that came to Australia from the USA. There's no shortage of storage in the Model Y, big door bins, 2 big holes in the centre console and a double cup holder in there as well. The glove box is sizable, although you have to open it via the touchscreen. Okay, so talking about touchscreens and technology, if you've never operated a Tesla before, you're going to find the Model Y a really different experience. Everything is headquartered in this touchscreen. Communications, entertainment, basic functions like setting up your steering wheel and your mirrors. It means you're going to do a lot of drilling into the touchscreen and do it often. Now, there are a couple of buttons, but they're only on the steering wheel here. So, like, really, this is it. Now, personally, drilling into touchscreens and things like that drives me mad, but maybe I'm just a Luddite. Look, if you're interested in the Model Y, I would urge you to spend some time trying to live with this system. It's such an integral part of the Model Y experience, and that means it's going to be fundamental to your buying decision. If you love it, fine. If you hate it though, I can't imagine living with it day to day. There's no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto either, but at least Tesla's own systems are impressive in their speed and clarity. It definitely helps if you link up your phone and personalise the setups. Once it's sorted, it makes plenty of sense. There are so many features to explore, from very important like this recordable dash cam to the just plain silly. Even though the Model Y has 8 exterior cameras, it doesn't actually have a 360-degree camera view. It's more like 270 degrees. The front is missing. Having said all that though, the vision, the clarity through the screen is excellent. The Kia EV5 looks a bit more like a normal car inside than the Model Y, with its 3 screens stitched together across the dash and its fair dollop of buttons and dials. But like the Tesla, it's more business than premium in its feel. There's a lot of hard surfaces. Equipment-wise, the EV5 has a couple of boasts over and above the Model Y. The driver's seat gets a massage function, but something more EV-centric is the vehicle to load that lets you plug in and run household items like laptops and power tools. And check this out, it looks like Kia's reinvented the bench front seat, but it's actually a sleeve to tuck away your phone or keys. The front seats are actually pretty sizable, if not quite as supportive under thigh as the sportily shaped Tesla chairs. Lots of storage options up here at the front of the EV5. These large double stacker ledgers in the centre console are the highlight. The EV5 comes with Kia's latest infotainment system, and it operates in a more orthodox way than the setup in the Model Y. At least initially, it's going to be easier for people to grapple with this than the Tesla. Like we've already mentioned, there's more traditional buttons and dials in the EV5, including these haptic touch spots. But here's a bit of a trick. As you reach across to maybe hit the touchscreen, you can slide your hand over the touch spots and accidentally trigger them, changing what you actually want to look at on the screen. The Kia boasts wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It also gets the Kia Connect smartphone app, but it doesn't have as many features as the Tesla app, which can basically run the car. Both cars have 4 USB-C points, 2 up front and 2 in the rear. They also allow over-the-air updating. As the base model in the range, the EV5 Air misses out on a 360-degree camera, but at least the reversing camera has decent clarity. But it can't match the Model Y, which has more parking and reversing features. So which car has the better interior? I reckon the EV5 does a good job of maximising its space and feeling comfy. It's not likely to intimidate or confuse people like the Model Y initially will. But if you're talking the feature count, then there's no doubt the Model Y leads the way. Neither of them has the level of plushness traditionally expected from a car that's going to cost you around $60,000 on the road. Blame their big and expensive battery packs for that. The Kia EV5 is too new to get an ANCAP safety rating. The Tesla gets 5 stars based on 2022 testing. Surprisingly, the Model Y doesn't have rear cross traffic alert as part of an otherwise comprehensive and well-tuned drive assist armoury. Speaking of which, there's plenty of misinformation and disinformation around Tesla's cruise control capability. In Australia, the Model Y comes standard with adaptive cruise control, which works just fine. The much ballyhooed, controversial, full self-driving is an expensive, non-operational and very questionable option. The EV5 also offers plenty of drive assist features, but they're not as well tuned. The dreaded bing-bongs for overspeed and driver monitoring have to be switched off each time the car is started. An intrusive lane keeping assist has to be dulled as well. There is a fix coming for at least some of this, apparently. The Tesla's nanny state monitors are much more subtle and easy to live with. There's no shortage of space in the rear seat of the Model Y. I particularly appreciate the fact that the backrest is nicely reclined. The only negative really is that it feels a bit claustrophobic in here. The seat base is not set up a little bit higher, and this backrest is kind of tall and in your face. The Model Y's rear compartment features include door bins, 2 small map pockets, air vents that are only adjustable for direction from the rear seat, a fold-down armrest with dual cup holders, and 2 USB-C points. The EV5 feels just as spacious in the rear seat as the Model Y. In fact, in some ways, I think it's just that bit better. It's more airy and open thanks to the big windows and these front seats that just don't crowd you as much. It's got some interesting design touches with its rear aircon vents in the B pillars and its USB-C ports in the middle of the seat backs. There's also this slide-out box as part of a generous amount of storage. The Model Y is the bigger car overall, and that reflects in boot space, which is just huge. Split fold the 3-part rear seat down, and that grows to gargantuan. And there's also plenty of room in the frunk up the front. Now, the EV5, well, it's no shrinking violet when it comes to storage space, but it just cannot match the Tesla. The Model Y has some cool features in the boot. Aside from that power tailgate, it's got this clever folding parcel shelf, power seat folding switches, and some deep storage pots. The EV5 also does pretty well with plenty of storage nooks and crannies, one of its 2 VTL outlets, storage adjustment knobs, and this floor section that can also become a divider. No spare tyre under either floor though, that absolutely sucks. Okay, plenty of food for thought in all that. Now let's jump in, take it for a drive and see what we find out. The Tesla Model Y driving experience is a whole environment, not just an e-motor and boom, away you go. It starts from the moment you get in the car. There's no speedo in front of you. Yeah, I know, weird. It's up in the right-hand corner of the infotainment screen. Some people swear by it, some people live with it, some people hate it. It'll be up to you to make your judgment call on that. You also set your mirror position and your steering wheel position through the infotainment touchscreen. Okay, sounds fussy, but at least it's a set and forget experience. Now we move to powertrain, and again, this is very much a holistic Tesla experience. This is the base model, yet it is so fast. It's faster than what the figures suggest. A lot of that is e-motor, tip-in, throttle, max torque experience, and it just flies along. There's a real shove in the back. But as well, it's very civil. For around town, there's no drama with smoothness or response. It's a very easy powertrain to live with. The chassis and dynamic experience is more specialised. The steering is sharp and very direct. It's easy to cut corners as you're first adapting to it. Lots of grip, very flat body. There's that battery pack sitting between the axles that really helps with the lower the centre of gravity, and that helps with handling as well. There's also a pretty firm suspension setup. Look, it's not crazy uncomfortable, but it is noticeably intrusive, and there's also some noise happening here, some bump and some thump. Talking about noise, we also get a fair degree of tyre noise. Not surprising, this is a big cabin. There's lots of hard surfaces, so plenty of surfaces for the noise to ricochet off. Okay, and finally, let's talk about visibility. Excellent forward, excellent sideways, just a bit compromised to the rear because of the sloping back window. Settle into the Kia EV5, and while it's got a pretty funky presentation, it's obviously more orthodox than the Tesla Model Y. Hey, it's got a speedo. It's even got a start button, although it is mounted on the gear selector, so you might have to hunt around to find it. Get rolling, and it's clearly a vehicle built more for comfort than speed. It's powered by an e-motor though, so there's definitely still some speed there, especially that tip-in throttle instant torque response, but it's not a jet like the Model Y. You can also feel those front wheels searching for grip when you hit the throttle nice and hard. That's called torque steer, and it's a common trait of front wheel drive vehicles. At low speed, it's just as civil though, with that comfort and smoothness that makes e-motors such a boon around town. The comfort side of it really shines when you get onto rough roads, be they city car parks, trickling around over speed humps, or you're out on the country highway with all those potholes and corrugations we have to deal with these days at 100 kilometres an hour. It just provides a better ride for its passengers. It's also a quieter place for passengers. There's less tyre noise, there's less road roar, there's less suspension bump thump. And in visibility terms, the EV5 is also ahead. It's just as good forward or to the side, but it's got a much bigger rear window. Measure the consumption, and the Tesla really impressed us, backing up its claim with real-world economy. When it comes to recharging, it's faster AC and much faster DC. The EV5 was even restricted to single-phase AC charging, so you can't AC charge it faster than 6.6 kilowatts. The Tesla can AC charge it up to 11 kilowatts. Bear that in mind if you're buying a wall box for home. So from settling in behind the steering wheel to sticking in a charger, what did we make of the driving experience of these two? Well, they're a very different feel, no doubt. Because of its more powerful e-motor and rear-wheel drive setup, the Model Y feels twitchier and a bit hyperactive. Its firm suspension setup's obvious too. The EV5's front-wheel drive chassis battled to stay well balanced with both steering wheel tug under power and deflection over bumps as too many inputs went through the front end at the same time. It felt underdone. One of the least dynamic and convincing Kias of recent times. The EV5 is at its best cruising. It's quieter and more comfortable than the Model Y, and it tops the Tesla with the ability for the driver to adjust regen braking via paddles on the steering wheel. That adds to the level of driver control. But because of its powertrain and direct communication, there is only one car here that's truly enjoyable to drive, and that's the Model Y. The Model Y is the reigning electric SUV champ, and we can see why. For the money being asked, it has a combination of powertrain smarts and equipment that's hard to beat. It also drives with real spirit and involvement. Its technology package is the most divisive thing about it. It's complex and opaque and very much a love it or hate it thing. The EV5 is competitive on price, more orthodox than the Model Y, and offers comfort and convenience. But it falls short on some big ticket equipment items and isn't as convincing behind the wheel or in its powertrain. All of which means the Kia EV5 Air standard range ends up falling short in this challenge to the Model Y rear-wheel drive. Look, this is a thoroughly competent medium SUV, but at this price point and against this opposition, it needs to be compelling. Having said all that, if you can't cope with the weirdness of the Model Y, then this is now the best alternative electric medium SUV choice in the market. And so did the Model Y. You might have picked up, I'm not hugely impressed by every aspect of this car, but it is a dedicated ground-up electric vehicle that does the basics brilliantly. The powertrain especially is amazing, and so much else about it is impressive. So that is why it stays our champion. But before you go whacking your money down on a Model Y, here's something to think about. Tesla is going to bring an update in the not too distant future, and it'd be worth just hanging on maybe to see how much more it can improve the champ. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments below.